Hello everyone, hope you're doing great. So today we are going to discuss an article that was published on 28th January. This article is about higher education and what the government is planning to do with higher education specifically. So this article can be very useful to write some essays and to help you understand the government plans with higher education. So what this article really tells us about is the HECL, that is HECI, I'm sorry, yes, HECI, that is Higher Education Commission of India. So what is the prospect is that this is an article that is based on speculation. I mean speculation in the sense that this article speculates what the government should do with the formation of HECL. Now, this article particularly tells us about that according to the National Education Policy, the government envisages a formation of HECL, that is Higher Education Commission of India. HECI. Okay. HECI, Higher Education Commission of India. This article tells us about eight things. What eight things this article tells us about what the government can do as far as the objectives, responsibility, accountability, adjudication, executive functions, and roles and responsibilities, the governance, independence, everything related to HECI is mentioned in this article. Now, to start with, this article tells us that there are four things that HECI would be responsible to do. Four things. First is regulation. So, regulation of higher education would be done by HECI. Second is accreditation. Accreditation right now of higher education is done by NAAC, NAAC, National Accreditation Authority of India. So, NAAC, it gives ratings to colleges. So, NAAC ratings are very famous. So, that is an accreditation. Now, just a minute. All right. Yes. So, four things. What are the four things? First is accreditation. Second is regulation. Then we have funding. And the last is funding. And the last is academic standard setting. So, these are the four things that this will be expected to do. HECI would be expected to do. Now, India has created many state regulatory agencies over the last 3 decades based on the current structures. Drafting the bill does not seem difficult. However, every regulator is unique. Given the importance of higher education, reliance on existing designs may not be appropriate. This article suggests a few high level design features befitting the role of HECI. So basically, this article is about the design features of the HECI, how the government should design it and plan it. So the first thing this article mentions is the objectives of HECI. Uh, what they tell us is that it is a misnomer that a regulator can only regulate. What would it regulate? Is there no market for education and related services? So first of all, the job is for governance or making or building up a market. The market may need to be developed to be regulated. The market needs to be first developed, then regulated. So first of all, it will be also responsible for regulation of this market. Now, now what they're telling us that development and regulation feed on each other in a virtuous cycle for an orderly growth of the market. This is a very important line that you can note down, that development and regulation feed on each other. So development and regulation are interlinked and interdependent. Agency has responsibilities of both development and regular regulation. So first of all, we understand the objectives, development and regulation. To address any concern, the regulator may have responsibility to promote the development and not develop as such. So the regulator has to promote it, not do it itself, not develop it itself. Further, protection in the interest of the user is the core for the regulator. Something like SEBI. SEBI does Har Investor Ki Taakat. So they have given the example of SEBI. They are again mentioning the example of SEBI ahead. So this is something that you can note down, that protection of the interest of the users is the core of a regulator. So the role, main job of a regulator is to protect the interest of the user. In this case, who are going to be the users? They are going to be the students, the colleges. So these are going to be the students, colleges, universities, students, different people, their parents. So these are going to be the stakeholders in this. So first and foremost, this article tells us that the first and foremost is the role of development that HECI has to do. Then it has to regulate for the interest of the users, and then it tells us to protect the interest of the users, promote the development, or regulate higher education in India. So all in all, it summarized for you the objectives of HECI. All right, moving ahead, this article next tells us the scope of HECI. Now, what does this mean? The scope of HECI is to demarcate the jurisdiction of HECI to avoid any regulatory overlaps or gaps. It should specifically list out the elements, persons, entities, products, and services and markets. In its ambit, it should enable HECI to regulate elements whether they exist today or emerge tomorrow without requiring an amendment. So, that is an important scope. If HECI is made today, it should function and work cleanly for the first 50 to 100 years without any need of amendments. This is what they're telling us, this is what they're saying, that is how a regulator should function. For example, they have given the example of SEBI again. So SEBI, for example, they are saying according to the SEBI Act of 1992 enables SEBI to regulate ABCD, any other intermediary associated with the market, as it may specify, without at the same time being very open ended. So that means that they want to make a regulator in the form of as SEBI. Third second thing that this article mentions, third thing that this article mentions is the responsibility centers. The legislation should view HECI as a body corporate, independent of the governing committee, with clear roles and responsibilities attached to each of them. So also specific responsibilities of all responsibility centers, such as four verticals: chairperson, whole time member, part time member, advisory committee, and disciplinary committee. So, four members: first is chairperson, second is whole time members, part time members, and we have the advisory committee and disciplinary committee. Advisory committee and disciplinary committee. Next, it tells us that should enable the government to prescribe the manner in of discharging their responsibilities, such as making regulations. So this should tell the government, HECI should tell the government in which way it should make the laws. Third, fourth thing is governance. In the interest of democratic legitimacy, the legislation should enable interface of the HECI with the larger society. It's GC, that means that governing chairperson or its GC should have representation of society as PTMs. PTMs is part-time members representing stakeholders and public. To enable the GC, to hold the management accountable, and the number of PTMs in the GC should exceed that of WTMs. WTMs are it's mentioned in the above part. It meant WTM is whole time member. So it's basically saying that the number of part time members should exceed the number of part time members in the GC, that is governing council, should exceed of whole time members. It should have a diversity of talent and experience tailored to its responsibilities to facilitate robust decision making. Since as a regulator, we require robust decision making from it. Next is a regulator exercises three sets of powers: quasi legislative, executive, and quasi judicial. So, this is also an important thing to understand. A regulator will have three kinds of power. First is quasi legislative, then is executive, and then is quasi judicial. So these are the three powers of the regulator. To address the concerns emanating from the integration of these powers, the legislation should provide for three separate wings within HECI to exercise set of powers, operate at an arm's length from one another to serve internal checks and balances. Next is independence. Fifth point is independence. HECI should be independent for it to be accountable. It should have independent sources of resources, communism with its responsibilities. The legislation should enable it to levy fees and charges from the regulated entities for its sustenance. It should enable HECI to have capable human resources to withstand the pressures of the market as well as fear and favor. Important governmental HR processes. HECI should be the final authority in exercise of powers for making regulation, conducting inspection, awarding a civil penalty, or filing a criminal prosecution. So these are the executive powers. The legislation should avoid the legislation should avoid just a minute. Having ex officio members in the GC while obliging HECI to be bound by directions of the government on matters of policy. The sixth point it tells us about accountability. The legislation should have provide mechanisms to hold HECI accountable for its performance, that is, its mandate and its resources. After it has exercised the power, the outcome, the subordinate legislation or quasi-judicial order may be undone by legislature or judiciary. So here they want to add judicial activism as well by following the due process of law. HECI should disclose its action plan ex ante, that means before applying, and performance ex post. That means how did the plan perform? Exports ex post performing it should tell and it should disclose matters such as minutes and agenda of meetings of the GC, its orders, relevant data, and the information, etc., in the interest of transparency should be told. Now it tells us that internal assessment, just a minute. It tells us the next part is of internal assessment. Internal assessment and cause and external assessments of its performance every year and disclose the same in annual report. So an annual report also needs to be filed. All right. The seventh part is regulations. The legislation should require HECI to use only one instrument, namely regulations, to prescribe norms for the market, just in the form of legislations. It should prescribe norms in the market. Next thing is public, after presenting a summary of the problems being addressed and the cost benefit analysis proposed of the proposed regulation. The regulations should carry legislative notes to explain the rationale for the same. HECI should review every regulation once in 3 years, to ensure that it is still relevant to weed out the redundancy in regulations. Next is the legislator. Next is the executive functions. That is the eighth part is the executive functions. The legislation should provide for process of monitoring compliance, including inspections and investigations to empower HECI suitably for the purpose. Here also the example of SEBI can work out. The last part is adjudication. That means that if they're imposing fine on something, where can the people adjudicate from? So adjudication is legislation should spell out controversies and associated penalties. So for example, if SEBI has told us about the penalty for something, it has also told us where we can address these penalties. It should provide the process of dispensing penalties appellate mechanism. Appellate mechanism is a mechanism where you can appeal your case. HECI should have a dedicated administrative law department under the oversight of administrative law member and adjudication. Yes, just a minute. Yes, and adjudication processing should commence with the issue of a show cause notice based on findings of a fact mining process that enables the notice to defend itself adequately. So every person and institution should have the possibility of defending itself. The disposal of notice, the adjudicating authority may have option to impose a variety of sanctions. So what other types of sanctions that HECI should have with itself? First is directions, second is cancellations, third is suspension, fourth is monetary penalty, and fifth is disgorgement, and the last one is settlement, sixth. So there are six ways in which it should work. Settlement amount should be credited to Consolidated Fund of India. Like the DNA of humans, a regulator has a DNA in the form of design, structure, and processes that are typically embedded in the creating legislation. It is important for the government that the parliament to get this legislative DNA of HECI right. So why this article is important is because this gives you insight into the how the government would work in formation of a new higher education council of India. Now, when this council or this commission gets made, there are going to be points for it, against it, and other things as well. So, this article gives you a background for all those points. I mean, the problems that could arise because of adjudication, accountability, executive functions. All of this is mentioned in this article, and this article will help you how to frame if a question on HECI is asked. So, thank you. That was all, and hope you had a great weekend. I'm sorry, weekday. And yes, thank you for staying for this long and all the best for your exams. Do share and subscribe the channel for more videos like this. Thank you everyone.